Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for this short review video on what I think is the best mat you can get for watch and watchmaking activities or other various sort of tabletop activities like in the areas of jewelry and art and dealing with fine parts, that kind of stuff. Now there are a lot of options out there when it comes to mats. If you have seen very many of my videos, you'll know that there's often this green backdrop. Sometimes you can see the name and number up here, Bergeon 7808. But this is my absolute favorite mat of those I've tried and different setups I've used. Let me talk about some of the options for mats out there and then why this one is my favorite. Yeah, a little splash of color to the conversation here. This is my Christopher Ward C63 Sealander GMT with a white dial. Got it on a black and orange hybrid canvas and rubber strap. But one of the things I say in some of my other tool videos is depending on how serious you're wanting to take getting into watch tinkering, modding, basic making stuff. If you want to try out a variety of tools, you can start with cheaper, lower cost stuff and work your way towards more expensive tools. And in some cases I would recommend maybe going with the lower cost option first, but sometimes it's best to go for the quality tool from the start so you don't end up wasting money. A lot of tools can be throwaway if they're the cheap ones where you use it several times or for a while and eventually it's going to break, or you're going to discover it doesn't work that well. You throw it out and you end up buying the better quality one in the end anyway. A good example of that's a good spring bar tool. This is the Bergeon 6767, and if you try a lot of lower cost ones, then you get the high quality one, then you realize how much better it is. Well, same thing when it comes to a few of the things in the workshop that I recommend getting the best of the best first. That would be things like spring bar tool, a screwdriver set. Again, the Bergeon 5970, I think it is just get that screwdriver set. You'll be happy if you're getting into it. Same thing with the mat. Now there are some competitors out there that offer lower cost options. Think of companies like Horatech or other off brands that have similar products for less cost, and in some cases going with the name brand and the quality that you're going to get with that material and product is worth that added cost. So I'm not going to talk about all of the other options. I'm going to talk about the options that Bergeon has available to you. There are really sort of three different lines of the Bergeon mats. There's the 5808, the 6808, and the 7808. Now the specific variant of these mats that I like the most myself is the 7808-V, sometimes noted as 7808-1 or 01. The big difference between the 58, 68, and 78, one thing is the thicknesses are all different. Okay, so the 5808 has a thickness of about 1.5 millimeters. The 6808 is a little over half a millimeter thick. So the 58 and the 68 are basically the same mat, but one is a little flatter. The 6808 is a little bit thinner. The 7808 is the thickest of the bunch. It's about 2 millimeters thick. I actually kind of like that. It stands up a little bit more on the surface, and the reason for that little height is because of the type of backing. The 58 and the 68 both have a self-adhesive backing. Think of it as sticky tape. If you've got a spot on the table where you want to put this mat, if you use that adhesive backing that's on those mats, once you got that in place, it's in that spot. It's not easily movable. In fact, if you lift it up or want to move it around, you can have some residue, might need to use some new adhesive, new tape, got a little cleanup to do, that kind of thing. You could forego using the self-adhesive backing on the 58 and the 68, but then they're sliding around a little bit. On most surfaces you could use maybe a more table-friendly adhesive if you wanted to, but that's where the 7808 comes in, because it has an anti-slip, anti-skid rubber sort of material backing on it. You can see here, if I push my fingernail into this, you can see it's got a little bit of give, a little bit of cushion to it. You can see there's the thin plastic layer surface, and then there is the rubber sort of anti-skid backing on this. So what's nice about that, why I recommend it, is most tabletops are wood or some sort of plastic or acrylic, that kind of thing. You can put this mat down and it's not going to move. In fact, let me lift up the camera here. The corners on this actually feel a little bit sticky. You can almost hear it sometimes, like it's peeling away from it, but there's no residue or anything. What's nice is that you can easily move this around. If I want to shift it to the left, the right, up, down, move it to a different spot in the bench altogether, then it's easy to just pick it up, move away, but once it's set down, it doesn't move at all. That's the biggest feature. One, I like the little bit extra thickness, sets it up a little bit higher from the edge and the rest of the stuff going on around the mat, but then also it's got the backing on it that is just more user-friendly. All these variants have the same dimensions in terms of the length and the width. They are 320 millimeters long, 240 millimeters wide. That's about 12.5 by 9.5 inches. So a little bit bigger than your standard sheet of paper. If you get one of these mats, the 6808 or the 7808, there are 3 color options. Those are white, black, and green. Now, what color you get, black, white, or green, really is going to depend on your lighting conditions, your environment, your eyes, that kind of thing. The reason why you see this light green in use in a lot of watch shops and these mats is because it's one of these sort of just scientific facts that this particular shade of green is easier on the eyes when you're looking and doing work. Kind of think about it, sitting at a workbench most of a day, day after day, looking at a particular color, and if you've got magnification on, you're working on these fine parts, and you've just got this surround of color all day. This color, this shade of green, is easy on the eyes after extended periods of time and lengths in looking at a color. I think white works fairly well also. Again, that depends on the lighting in your environment and if that'll bother your eyes over time a little bit more or not. I started out with white backing in my watch work, eventually shifted to the green, and I think that's really one of the good changes I've made myself in my own setup. And then there's also black if you think that's a better color, suits your environment better. One also nice thing about the green versus the white and black is it hides some of the stains and stuff a little bit better. White and black, it's like black, you can see all the dust and particles and stuff around a little bit more. The white just starts to look a little bit more messy after time. The green hides a little bit of that. Now, a lot of different places sell this mat. A couple distributors I like to use for a lot of different things like Autofry and Esslinger. They both sell this mat or the variants of these mats. It's on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below where you can find these mats. Typical price range is between $30 and $40, depending on where you're getting it. And then you also should take shipping into account if you're getting this and other stuff. So about 30 to 40 bucks, something in that range. And that's not a lot of money. So I'm saying, if you buy the one that's between $10 and $20, why not just spend the extra 10 to 20 bucks and get the best quality mat you can get? That's what I'm saying. This is one of those places where it doesn't make much sense to go the cheap route. Get the best one you can get out there. My opinion, that's the 7808V, the green color, and they're so good. I've got 2. I buy multiples of these and put them in different spots around my office and workbench. So I've got one where this is my actual workbench that sits at about shoulder height, and then I have one over here where I do my recording and other watch work and tinkering when I'm sitting here next to the computer. So good, you need a couple of them. Thanks for watching. More tool reviews and suggestions coming along in future videos, along with all of my other watchmaking activities. I'm Brian. Check out my Instagram at watch_complications and my site watchcomplications.com. I'm out.